The following is a presentation of TFNN. Time to talk about your health. Living a primal lifestyle.
We have Mike from Chicago on the line, and he has a question about digestion.
Hi, Mike.
Hey, guys. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
First of all, I just wanted to say that I love the show. I think it's great programming, and I'm very much of a like mind when it comes to, taking control of your own health and certainly doing your own research.
Oh, that's so great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now your hosts, Nico De Haan and Paige Clarke.
Welcome to the program. This is Nico and Paige on Living a Primal Lifestyle. It's a beautiful day here in downtown
Friday.
Clearwater. Happy Friday, everybody. And the temperature is today, let me just pull it up here. It is 81 degrees, folks, and it's gorgeous here down in Florida. And I know a lot of things happening in the world, but it's time to take, hey, everybody in Boston can at least listen to us because they're shut in, right? So everybody's going to be listening. Mm-hmm. We have an exciting guest here, and our number here is 877-927-6648. And I'd like to remind you, first of all, to pick up our Health Signals newsletter. I have a new issue that's out right now, so please check it out. And it's only $10 a month. You get 2 issues a month. And the first and third Friday of each and every month. So today we have a great guest. His name is Tony Hale, and Tony Hale is a health practitioner and a personal trainer that specializes in major weight loss transformations.
I love his stuff.
I know, and he's helping clients to understand and improve freaky health issues. Now, for 8 years, this is very interesting, Tony toured professionally as a comic, and he believes that humor, positivity, and knowledge are the best ways to motivate.
I'm sure we're going to see a lot of that in the movie.
I think so, too. And Tony's also an author with expertise in the science of cravings and how to eliminate them the healthy way. So welcome to the program, Tony Hale.
Hey, guys. Thanks so much for having me on. I'm just excited to be talking to you guys down in Clearwater. I'm actually from Florida.
Oh, are you?
And one of my first comedy gigs was actually in Clearwater.
Where was that?
I can't even remember the name of the club now. I think what is the club there? It was probably 20 years ago.
Oh.
Okay. We'll have to figure that out on a break.
Yeah.
But you know what? Maybe we saw you there.
Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
Tony, tell me about the new documentary that's coming out, which is called Why Am I So Fat?
Yeah, it started out just because I had some clients that were losing crazy weight, and we're here in L.A., and I have, a lot of clients that are in the industry, so we just decided we needed to make a movie to share this information with the world, because there's so much about weight loss that the world just seems to be confused about.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we just started making this movie, and then it just started picking up steam, and all these huge names wanted to play with us, like, Shape Magazine and Men's Fitness, Muscle and Fitness, and Bill Phillips, and even Jane Lynch from Glee. So it's really, really picking up a lot of steam. We're having a lot of fun.
Now, when is this going to be released?
We're shooting to wrap it up at the end of the summer. So it should be out by the end of the year or the beginning of 2014.
Hey, and for all of our listeners, you can see a trailer of the movie at www.whyamisofatmovie.com. And I think it's going to be something that's going to really give a lot of people information that have been holding on to weight and give them some great solutions.
Yeah, I agree.
It's exciting because we've pooled the knowledge of all the really big experts that are having success in this field. And when you see what everybody's saying and what they're agreeing on, it's really going to freak some people out. And I think it's going to help a lot of people, too.
Yeah, so why can't everybody agree about diet? There's so much misinformation, and certainly in the mainstream, you have this one type of diet that seems to work for everybody, but that's really not the way it is it?
Yeah, it's kind of a mess, don't you think?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It really is, and what we're finding is this, and the big secret to weight loss is to understand that there is no diet that is right for every person, and it will never exist.
Right.
The key is to look at the individual, because we all process foods differently. So the real secret is to look at how a person's body is operating, and then you can understand what diet is either going to help them or what malfunctions need to be corrected so that they can use a diet that they enjoy to lose weight.
Okay.
So, like when we're talking about a primal diet especially and eating paleo, I myself, I eat paleo.
Right.
But I find that a lot of clients don't have the ability to do that in the beginning when they first start working with me, because a paleo diet can be heavier on protein and healthy fats.
Yeah.
But if a person's digestive system is not functioning correctly, they may not be able to digest proteins correctly at all.
Yeah.
And then those proteins can just, instead of digesting, they rot and ferment in the system, and that can create toxins. So
And inflammation,
a guy sees his friend go on a paleo diet and lose all this weight, and then he does the same thing, and he feels horrible, and he gains weight, and he gets this thought like, I must just be the fat guy, and there's nothing I can do about it, because this diet that's working for everybody else isn't working for me.
Yeah.
But if we look at the problems that are going on, we can fix things like digestion. We can help them digest protein or emulsify the healthy fats that they're eating, and then all of a sudden the same thing that worked for their friend can work for them too.
Right.
I don't know if you know, but I'm a natural health practitioner as well, and what you're doing is exactly what I'm doing, and I really enjoyed looking at your focus on chemistry and correcting chemistry. You mentioned what does digestion actually have to do with weight loss, and it has a lot to do with it.
Yeah,
So,
it's really a big deal. And I look at the major obesity epidemic going on as, when I have somebody come to me and they're 300 or 400 pounds, it's usually a situation where this person is starving.
mm-hmm.
And, people look at me like I'm an idiot when I say that in the group. But, because they're like, look, the guy's right there. He's 400 pounds. He has a bucket of fried chicken in his hand right now. He's not starving.
Right.
But what we mean is that he's starving at the cellular level. He's not getting the nutrients that he needs.
So the body's not being able to tap into what he's feeding himself.
Yeah, that's right, Nico. The food goes in, but if you can't pull the nutrients, the minerals, the amino acids, the vitamins, if you can't pull that out of the food, then your body is still screaming, hey, what else you got? Put something else in here, because that last bucket of whatever you had didn't work, so let's have some more.
Mm-hmm.
And they just can't stop eating all day long.
Yeah.
And it creates a problem.
Yeah, I'm finding a lot of the clients that I deal with, too, also, and the ones that specifically come in for weight loss, most of them have a digestive system that's all screwed up, and I don't know if they're not digesting the proteins, but maybe the fats are having a hard time also. Is that what you're finding, too?
Yeah, and that's all about bile flow. When you hear about fix your digestive problems in the mainstream, the only information they give us is use some fiber, get some probiotics, and that's really all they're offering. But the main focus of digestion is the acid that's created in the stomach, and half of the country takes drugs and over-the-counter remedies to turn the acid off, because they're told that reflux is from too much acid, when the reality is usually reflux is from not enough acid.
Yeah, exactly.
So the valve can't close.
And my wife had a problem for years with acid reflux, and finally, just through the hydrochloric acid and the regime of that, slowly helped her, and now she's completely off the acid, and she's doing fine. So it's amazing how much misinformation is out there.
Right, and like what it sounds like Paige did is you can artificially create digestion using supplementation, and then your body can pull nutrients out of the food, and now it has the resources it needs to create its own digestion.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get yourself off of the supplements in most cases.
Exactly. Sometimes we need to supplement to help, but really my approach is always, let's not replace function, let's restore function, let's figure out. And I like the fact that your program does focus so much on bile flow. I know I have a listener out there that sent me an email this week concerned about her daughter who had her gallbladder removed, and we all know that really gives us a lot of compromise on healthy bile use and digestion. So I like that you have that focus too.
Yeah, and that's a big problem. I see a lot of people that have had their gallbladder out, and in my book, Kick Your Fat on the Nuts, in the appendix section, I really break down what you can do if you've lost your gallbladder, because there are steps you can take to to boost that bile that is now, the storage is gone.
Right.
And that's a situation where a person will need to use supplementation for the rest of their life, and unless they can buy a new gallbladder at a garage sale or something.
Right, and the other thing you've got is so many people that have had their gallbladder removed, what their mainstream doctors are telling them is eat low-fat this and low-fat that, instead of, work on, it is the liver that produces the bile, folks. The gallbladder is the storage, and it's so important for that regulation. But we don't want to be discouraged from eating the healthy fats that we know. We want to work on how we can digest them, whether we have a gallbladder or not.
Right, exactly. And that a lot of people come, they'll still have their gallbladder, but their bile is backed up, it's sticky, it can't flow correctly. Mm-hmm. And that bile is the body's main exit pathway for toxins. The liver filters toxins out of the body, puts it in the bile so that it can be removed out the back door.
Right.
So if that's not flowing, a person's toxicity will accumulate. And people look at body fat as, oh, I ate too much fat.
Yeah.
And that's not the case. The body uses the adipose tissue to store toxins so that it can pull toxins out of the bloodstream and it can put it in a safe place for now until the burden is down and they can remove it from the body. So a lot of these people that are really overweight, they're just really toxic because there's no pathway for the toxins to get out.
Yeah, and then when they do change their diet, then of course you're dealing with these toxins trying to get out, and no wonder they feel bad.
Yeah, they feel lousy.
Yeah.
Because the body, they start to eat right, and the body says, oh, the coast is clear. I can get rid of some of these toxins that are in the fat cells. So it starts pulling it out, putting it back in the bloodstream so it can be removed. But now it has to be refiltered out because it can't get out through the bile. The bile's not flowing, and man, they feel lousy.
Yeah, we call it a beef jerky bile. It's so thick.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, beef jerky bile. I love that.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that's a shame. I'm going to steal that now.
Another thing, Tony, that's a key point. A lot of people, one of the things I say to them, are you prepared perhaps to feel worse before you can feel better? Because right on with that. A lot, you see someone who's heavy, and they've got too many toxins, or they're starving because they're not getting what they need. They're holding on, and I like to use the word weight release. When we release these, but sometimes as we let go, they experience some uncomfortableness, and that's something maybe we'll talk about in the next segment. Is why do people get emotional? You and I are hitting on a similar button there.
Yeah, we're actually coming up on a break, Tony, so hang on. We'll be right back. Another thing, folks, when you pick up my newsletter, you're going to find a page of Tony's on there, so you can get to the website. You can look at some of these documentary trailers and see what it's all about, and some links to where you can buy.
He's got some great resources available.
Yeah, he does, and some links to where you can get his book, which is called Kick Him in the Nuts. What's this called, Tony?
Kick your fat in the nuts.
Kick your fat in the nuts.
He's got some great series, and I think it's a really great resource, people, and maybe you can also go to the website and support and help us get this movie out sooner than later.
And if you'd like to talk to Tony, the number here is 877-927-6648, and we'll be right back after the break.
Daryl Martin coined the phrase diagnostic trading, and we're happy to announce that his diagnostic box spread analyzer has finally been released. The Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer helps you easily identify the best box spreads on Nadex in seconds, plus you receive access to the diagnostic deviation levels, as well as step-by-step training videos teaching you how to trade Nadex spreads so you can quickly master the mechanics of this simple yet powerful trading instrument. By pulling live data from the Nadex exchange, the Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer does all the math for you, calculating risk, reward potential, distance to break even for both outright spreads and spreads used to hedge the underlying market. Visit the front page of TFNN.com today to get your 2-week free trial to Daryl Martin's Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer and gain access to the valuable information it can provide when trading the Nadex box spreads. You take a hands-on approach to managing your investment strategy. You're always looking for the next trading opportunity to magnify your perspective. Direction Shares connects sophisticated traders with a powerful array of ETFs from a wide range of asset classes. The markets may go up and down, and you want tools for both sides of the trade. Discover how we can help at DirectionShares.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction Shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction Shares at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors employing dynamic strategies. Investors in the fund should understand the consequences of seeking daily investment results, understand the risk of shorting, and intend to actively monitor and manage their investments. Distributor, Foreside Fund Services, LLC. McEwen Mining is a high-growth, mid-tier producer in the Americas with a market capitalization of $1 billion. Experienced mining executive Rob McEwen, as chairman, CEO, and president, owns 25% of the outstanding shares of McEwen Mining and has put in place an ambitious business plan with the goal of qualifying for inclusion in the S&P 500 by 2015. With $70 million in cash and liquid assets as of the end of 2012 and completely debt-free, McEwen Mining is poised for growth. Production in 2013 is forecasted to grow at 24%, reaching 130,000 gold equivalent ounces, and over the next 3 years, McEwen Mining projects that their production will increase to 290,000 gold equivalent ounces, almost a threefold increase from last year's totals. If you'd like to find out more about McEwen Mining, click on their banner on the front page of TFNN.com or check them out on the NYSE or TSX under the symbol MUX.
Who says you can't take it with you? TFNN says you can. With your mobile device and TFNN's live radio streams, TFNN has put it all in the palm of your hands. No special apps to download. No subscription fees for live radio or Tiger TV streams. We say you can.
Now let's go over to the dollar, because the dollar is going to be the generator. It is the generator of basically higher dollar, lower market. And what the dollar has done, and this whole uptrend, folks, has just gone sideways. The way it works, folks, is this.
We say you can. The Tiger Financial News Network. Smart investors and professional traders know you can. TFNN.com. Educating investors. This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
Welcome back to the program, folks. It's Nico and Paige on Living a Primal Lifestyle, and our phone number here is 877-927-6648. If you'd like to talk to Tony Hale, Tony has a new film coming up, going to be released in the fall, and it's called Why Am I So Fat? And what were you saying, Paige? We were talking about the toxins in the body, and
yeah, what we were talking about, what Tony teaches us is that, you know, a lot of people are fat because they are malnourished. They're not getting what they need. Their body's holding on to it. It's desperately seeking something. The fat also acts as an insulator or protection from the toxins. So a fat person is a toxic person. And I wanted to just kind of finish up on this train of thought with the fact that he says, why do some people get more emotional while they're on a diet? Tony, you want to talk about that with us?
Yeah, it's all about what kind of fuel your body is using to function. And brain is just like the body. You know, people feel like if they eat enough food that they can walk to their car, that they got what they needed. Mm-hmm. But the brain needs fuel too, just like your body does. So a lot of people, if they're not pulling enough minerals out of their food, the mineral content of their body will be very low. And these minerals are necessary for signals to travel through from the body to the brain. Mm-hmm. So if a person has a lack of minerals, they can feel depressed, and that they can emotions will be higher and harder to rationalize through. So if a person is processing carbs more than they can process fats or proteins, and all of a sudden they go on a diet where they restrict their carbs, they just took away the only form of fuel that their brain was using to function.
Right.
And they just fall apart, and they just start balling up and crying on the floor while they watch episodes of the Brady Bunch. So it's about getting your brain the fuel it needs, just like your body needs fuel.
Yeah.
And that's so smart because, like you said, if they can't yet break down those fats and those proteins, then they're missing the one fuel source they have. We can't all become a fat burner or sugar burner or wherever we're going with that overnight. We have to kind of look at what's going on.
I agree.
Right.
And
especially if those pathways are malfunctioning.
Mm-hmm.
Just like you had the acid where you didn't have enough acid in your stomach, you can also use supplementation to thin the bile so that it will flow better, and then you can emulsify those fats. And that's another thing that I focus on a lot in the book and with my clients.
Yeah. So what are some of the biggest mistakes that you see people make when it comes to wanting to lose weight?
Well, the biggest one right now is that everybody wants to count their calories, and I mean, everybody out there tells you that it's a calorie in, calorie out formula.
Right.
That all you got to do is burn more than you eat, and then you're golden.
Right.
And so people do this, and they don't lose any weight, and then again they're thinking, well, I'm just a fat kid, and that's what I'm stuck being.
Right.
This formula of burn more calories than you eat is absolutely scientifically true if you're a petri dish in a laboratory. But beyond that, since we all process foods differently, you could be eating the same caloric intake, but if you can't process those calories or the food that contains those calories, that food is going to turn into a toxic mess in your body and can be stored in fat.
Yeah.
So it's just, that's the biggest misconception that is out there, is that all I have to do is be a mathematician and I can lose weight. And it's just not true.
Yeah. Well, we have a caller, Mike from Ormond Beach on the line, and he has a question for you. Hey, Mike, how you doing today? You there, Mike?
People that has a problem absorbing protein. To look at me, I actually look skinny, but I've always, tried to keep fit throughout my life and work out. And my problem is, it's like, if I take in the proper amount of proteins that I need, that I'm supposed to, like as I'm working out and building my body up, it seems like it goes right to my gut, and it doesn't, it doesn't go to my muscles as it should, as far as like physical abilities against other people, like chin-ups and pull-ups and stuff like that. I'm, pretty competitive, with things like that. But however, when I eat what I think is the right amount to maintain my body, it just goes to fat around my gut. And then if I try to eat lean, high protein, low carbs and everything, to try to get rid of the fat, it's like I get to points where I actually get weak.
Okay.
And what are some of the things you can do if you suspect your body isn't absorbing protein? Are there supplements out there that you recommend? Or
Okay, this is a great question, and we're going to hold this until after the break. We're coming up on the break, so Mike, hang on. Tony will answer your question right after that, and remind people that it is 877-927-6648. And pick up my Health Signals newsletter, and we're good to go, and we'll see you in a couple minutes.
You've heard Nico De Haan as co-host of Living a Primal Lifestyle, which airs every Friday at noon Eastern Time on TFNN, and would like to tell you about the personal training studio that Nico is the owner and president of, Performance Training. Since 1998, Nico has trained individuals and groups to improve their health both mentally and physically. As a certified personal trainer, Nico's main focus is on demonstrating exercises correctly to avoid injury and teaching his clients how to manage their past injuries while getting the most out of their personal training sessions. The Performance Training Studio is filled with unique training equipment that enhances balanced results at a faster rate while minimizing damage and discomfort. For more information, you can give Nico a call at 727-418-8740 or email him at nico@tfnn.com. Let him know you heard him on TFNN and save up to $100 on a special package just for TFNN listeners. Act today. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
Recently, Basil Chapman has had some outstanding trades in his newsletter, The Opening Call. Each morning by 9 a.m., Basil uploads his newsletter to the TFNN servers so that his subscribers can access his expert trading advice. Basil gives his take on the direction of key indices and updates any active trades that his subscribers are currently in. Just recently, Basil's subscribers closed out a short position in Chipotle Mexican Grill, CMG, for more than an $86 profit per share, over a 20% gain in just one position. If you'd like to try out Basil Chapman's newsletter, The Opening Call, then visit the front page of TFNN.com and click Trading Newsletters. There you'll find Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, where you can request a free sample copy. Also, don't miss Basil's program, The Tiger Technicians Hour, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, on TFNN.
Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, gives you Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. With Market Insights, nothing is left to guessing. With the market at record levels, volatility is here, and now is a perfect time to take advantage of a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights. As recently as March 26th, Tom advised his subscribers to liquidate their 4 short-term equity holdings, closing out all 4 positions for a combined 15.9% profit. And on April 1st, Tom advised his clients to sell their longer-term position in AIG warrants, locking in more than a 40% profit in just that one trade. If you'd like to see the kind of newsletter Tom O'Brien sends out to his subscribers each morning, then sign up for your 2-week free trial to Market Insights today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
Okay, welcome back to the show, folks. Nico and Paige here on Living a Primal Lifestyle. On the phone, we have Tony Hale from WhyAmISoFat.movie.com, and we have a guest, Mike from Armand Beach, who has a question. And you're talking about protein. Would you restate the question again so some of the listeners that just came on can understand what we're talking about, and then we'll let Tony answer it.
Okay. Yeah, I got like a fairly lean build, and I work out a lot. I do a lot of physical work, and to try to bulk up my body, if I take the amount of protein that most trainers recommend that you take in and everything, I find out that a lot of times it just turns into fat around my belly, my gut, and then if I try to lean my diet out in order to get rid of some of the fat and everything, I find myself getting really weak.
Okay.
But I do a lot. I mean, I'll do a lot more physical work than a lot of other people I know that they don't get the fat and everything. And I know a lot of people that don't work out and they eat pizza every night and they drink beer and they're lean. They have they don't have fat around the gut, and it's like I work out a lot and
what am I doing wrong, right?
I try to eat right and everything, and it's like I'm ending up with a spare tire. So I've always suspected I'm not absorbing the protein correctly.
Right. You don't have the secretions, the bile and the stomach acid possibly to break that down, right, Tony?
Yeah, so this is really a two-part answer. And if you're doing pull-ups, man, you don't want to go into your gut because that's just no fun. But the first part is that it doesn't matter how much protein you're taking in if you can't digest the protein. It's just going to turn into gook, and it's going to store as fat. So the first problem is you have to make sure that your digestion is functioning correctly. In my book, Kick Your Fat in the Nuts, I actually allow you to ask yourself questions of your symptoms to figure out if you need digestive help or not. So that's one thing that you can do. But the second part is this, and this is common for a lot of guys that are really lean and have a hard time putting on muscle. In my book, I also teach you how to look at your own physiology just using simple tests that you can do at home to understand your body chemistry and how it's working. But a lot of people, we hear about, and you want to go to an anabolic state with anabolic steroids and these guys trying to make themselves huge. But what the anabolic state is it's when the body is repairing and rebuilding. And we're supposed to move into that anabolic state at night. And in the day, we move into a catabolic state where the body breaks tissue down so that it can be rebuilt. But a lot of people will get stuck in either the anabolic state or the catabolic state. So if you're leaning more toward the catabolic state all the time, your body is kind of always in a breaking down mode.
I agree. I totally agree with that because like recently, my workload has increased a lot at my job and everything, and it's like, it's like people pull me aside and say, "Mike, are you okay? You're losing weight, and it's
yeah. So it's just a case of breaking down all the time, but you can correct that with supplements and with diet. You can change what you're doing to push you into more of an anabolic state, and then your body can rebuild and that muscle will show up. And you'll be like, hey, what's up? I got muscle.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, it's like, my gut's getting bigger, but, my arms and, my legs and the areas I'm trying to build up are just getting less. So what are some things I can do to improve the anabolic state? Is there supplements or...
There are supplements that you can do, that you can use, and it depends on other chemistry that's going on. I allow you to break down and look at your whole physiology, and it really depends on your electrolyte state as to which supplements you would want to use. But also healthy fats can help, like coconut oil and good butter, real butter, because it supplies the sterols that the cells need to be less permeable and move into that anabolic state. Right. But and that will also give you sustained energy longer. But again, you have to be able to emulsify those fats. So your bile has to be flowing properly before you're going to get any benefit of that. Or just like the protein, those fats can turn toxic and turn into stored fat.
So what are some of the supplements I could maybe gradually try to see if I get some improvement?
Well, you'll have to read the book to figure out what's right for you. I try not to just throw supplements out because if I say one that's meant to actually raise mineral content and raise blood pressure, and somebody uses it that already has high blood pressure, they're going to get themselves into trouble. So I like people to really look at their specific individuality and figure out what's right for them. It's really not about the supplement that's popular right now. It's about the supplement that's right for you and your physiology.
Right, because I know, like I've been around trainers my whole life, and they've always told me, and I agree that everybody has to find what works well for them as far as what routine, what they eat. It might work good for one person, but it might work a little bit different for somebody else.
And that's right. But what I do is I cheat. Instead of spending your life throwing darts, hoping that you get a bullseye, I teach you how to look at what's going on with your body so that you know what's going to work before you even start to try it.
Okay,
that's the way to do it.
Thanks a lot for calling, Mike. I appreciate it.
Yep, bye-bye.
So this kind of leads me to the next question, Tony. So how does somebody start looking at themselves and saying, okay, what's my first step? If they were coming to you professionally, what's the first thing you do?
Well, the first thing I do is I teach them how to run tests on themselves so that they can figure out what's going on. And a lot of them are just simple things that you can do at home, like you can check your blood pressure at home. You can
urinalysis.
look at the way that Yeah, you can look at your urine pH and your saliva pH, and when you put all these things together, it starts to form this picture that gives you an idea of how your body's functioning.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I'll say that with my book today, I just got an email from Amazon saying that one of the images was the wrong size, so the book is unavailable if you're a Kindle reader, probably for the rest of the day until we get that fixed.
I was just going to ask you, where can you get the book, Kick It in the Nut?
Yeah, Kick Your Fat in the Nuts is on Amazon, both paperback and Kindle.
Okay.
And I walk you step by step through how to do that. A big thing is support, too. We put up a free support group on Facebook that's private, so you can ask questions and get help from people who understand how to look at your own physiology.
Now, you have two Facebook pages that I saw. One is Kick Your Fat in the Nut on Facebook, and then also Why Am I So Fat on Facebook. Is that correct?
It's Kick It in the Nuts on Facebook.
Kick It in the Nut, okay.
We have other books, too, like on menstrual cramps and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one is Why Am I So Fat? Yeah.
Right.
But this is the private group that that you can email me to get the link to get to, and it's also listed in the book.
Okay.
So it sounds like everybody should get the book.
Yeah, I think that's the
place to
first
start.
step. And how can people reach you through email? And
if they go to kickitinthenuts.com, there's a place where you can submit questions.
Okay,
And
great.
I answer questions every week.
Mm-hmm. And you have a great blog there, too.
Thanks.
so one of the things you say is that fat may be saving your life. What do you mean by that?
That kind of goes back to that toxicity thing. You know, if a person is toxic, the body's actually doing you a favor by storing some of those toxins in fat. And yes, excessive body fat can eventually cause problems, but it's a better choice than, like, dying on Thursday,
Yeah.
Sure.
you know?
Yeah. If the organs, that's what I tell a lot of my clients, the liver's going to say, I can't deal with this. And that's the liver helps process toxins. I can't deal with this. I think I'm going to stick it on her butt. I'm going to stick it on her hips. I mean, that's where the fat's actually kind of saving your life. So opening up those channels of detoxification, then we can start to release the fat.
And then that leads me to another question. Then how you release that toxins from your fat has to be very important. How you do that then?
Yeah, and the main factor is that you want to make sure that those removal pathways are open, because the toxins that are stored in your fat could be anything from chemicals, artificial ingredients, and medication.
Hormones.
So when the body feels like the coast is clear to get rid of some of those toxins out of the fat cells, all that stuff can come out. And I have people all the time that they feel the side effects from drugs that they haven't been on for a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to make sure the bile's flowing and that you're drinking enough water to wash the junk out once the body starts to remove it.
Right,
Okay.
and moving your bowels, proper bowel movement, that's another big issue, right?
Really a big deal. My next book out is just on constipation because it's such a factor when it comes to obesity. If somebody is plugged up, all those toxins just get reabsorbed, have to be filtered out through a liver that's already overwhelmed, and the body just is like, I can't do it. Just shove it in a fat cell and let's just move on with the day, and they get big. So getting the bowels removed is a big deal. And you can do it. People are not stuck like they think. All you have to do is understand why you're constipated, and you can fix it.
Yeah.
And talking about constipation, because I think everyone has a different view of, tell me what your definition of a constipated individual is.
If you're not moving your bowels considerably every day, like a good stool, you're plugged up.
Mm-hmm.
If you're skipping days, you're reabsorbing toxicity.
And that whole bowel endotoxin reabsorption is huge from this whole toxicity. And I think one of the reasons we have so many men and women experiencing estrogen dominance, they might be getting these toxins to move, then they get to the bowel and they can't get it out, so the body reabsorbs it.
Right, and then it just becomes more toxic every time it has to go through everything. It's just sitting in there.
Yeah. I'm sure there's going to be a nice creative title for that book.
Well, yeah, Kick Constipation in the Nut.
There you go. I like it. I like it. So what are some of the What are some of the things, how to get rid of cravings? Because that's a big thing when people are giving up certain foods. I know there's a lot of foods that are addictive out there. So how do you help your clients get over cravings?
Yeah, because how are you gonna win if the ding dongs are screaming your name?
Yeah.
It's hard to stay on track, and it's really usually about physiology. And the most common cause, it's not the only cause, but the most common cause is a person with low blood pressure because they don't have enough minerals in the system, and their blood pressure reading will come up very low.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people say, my blood pressure has always been low, but you've always had digestive issues, and you've always had a low level of minerals in your system, and that's why.
Okay.
So what happens is, when our minerals are low, if our sugars also go low, the body can have a seizure. Everything kind of shuts down because there isn't enough resources for the body to function correctly. So that's the cause of seizures in a lot of cases. So way before that happens, the body gets very defensive and says, hey, you need something else.
Uh-huh.
You need something to buffer these low minerals, and sugars can do that.
Okay.
So that's why people crave sugar, chocolate, carbohydrates that can be turned into sugar, because if your minerals are very low, you can buffer those with higher sugars.
I see.
So
Okay.
what I teach people to do is to raise their mineral content, and then those cravings go away. It's really quite crazy. It works very well.
I've never heard it put quite that way. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've had clients that have been going to therapy for 10 years just for their cravings, and we fix this in 2 weeks, and they're just done. They don't need it anymore.
Yeah. Now, what role does exercise then play in your scheme of things? What's more important for you, nutrition or getting on the exercise bike?
And this is another big misconception, is that people think, I'll just eat crappy and then I'll go and run a few laps.
Mm-hmm.
And it just doesn't work that way.
It doesn't equate.
It really is 80% diet and 20% exercise, I think.
Yeah, and with some people it's even more. And,
I think it's all diet myself, yeah.
Yeah, the exercise is important, and you can really do a lot of good things with the exercise. You can set up your body to crank out burning more fuel all day. You can do all those things like you hear, but one thing you can't do is you cannot out-train a bad diet or physiology that does not allow you to process food.
Mm-hmm.
So you really got to look at the food first and then use the exercise as a boost.
Okay. Makes sense to me, and that's exactly my philosophy, too. It's the exercise is secondary. I have a lot of people that come to me and are not willing to change their diet, and I say, I just can't help you losing weight if you're not going to look at the diet first.
Yeah, because I have clients that I'll kick the crap out of them in the gym, and they work out so hard, and they get no results.
Right.
Because they're not telling you what they're really doing when they leave as far as their diet.
Right.
I don't really make those changes.
Now, this is also a problem for people who want to gain weight and can't.
Yeah, and it really is. And especially when it's muscle weight, they have to be able to break the food down into the amino acids that the body can use to actually build muscle. But they also have to be able to move into that anabolic state at night so that rebuilding can happen. So it's usually a twofold issue in that.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to be back for one more segment, folks. Number here is 877-927-6648, and please pick up my Health Signals newsletter. I've got a new one out there today, and you can find a lot of information about Tony Hale in that newsletter also. So Tony and Paige and I will be back in a couple of minutes. So I think...
Tom O'Brien's weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, has helped subscribers for over 10 years navigate the high-risk world of exploring and producing gold companies. And now's a great time to sign up for a free month-long trial to see the kind of insight that Tom delivers for his subscribers on a weekly basis. Every Monday, Tom O'Brien issues a quick update on the metal market, giving you his take on the HUI, XAU, GLD, dollar, bonds, and much more. Tom follows Monday's update with a full gold report, which is delivered to subscribers Tuesday afternoon with detailed coverage of 24 separate gold or metal stocks, as well as another 10 to 15 stocks that he lets you know are on his potential watch list. Get your month-long free trial to the Gold Report today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Don't spend another year navigating the metal markets on your own. Act early in 2013 and make the most of your gold and metal market investments.
With the launch of Tiger TV, TFNN has brought our programming to the next level. With Tiger TV, you can gain access to each host's charts and computer screens as they host their daily stock program. Whether it's Tom O'Brien, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, David White, Larry Pesavento, Victor Jones, or Daryl Martin, you can catch all of our technicians hosting their programs live and archived on Tiger TV for your viewing pleasure 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you haven't checked out Tiger TV, then visit TFNN.com and see what you're missing.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
Are you looking for a precision edge in the market? Something that can stack the odds in your favor? Then look into Larry Pesavento's new trading newsletter, Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind. In each weekly issue, Larry explains what's going to happen in the markets based on the pattern he sees developing and gives you actionable trade ideas based on those patterns. Plus, you'll get his detailed analysis on a variety of markets and sectors, including stocks, treasury bonds, the gold market, oil, the dollar, the forex market, and more. And you'll get the Technical Corner segment, which is a short but powerful weekly training session on trading. You'll get access to all the patterns Larry is seeing in the markets, plus the Astro Harmonics and powerful Bradley stock market model that Larry utilizes for less than $5 a day. An extremely potent combination that will give you just the edge you've been looking for. Try Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind absolutely free for 2 weeks. Go to TFNN.com and click on the free trial link at the top of the page. That's an $85 value, yours free when you register right now. Get Larry's Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind and get the edge you've been looking for.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
Welcome back to the show, folks. This is Nico on Living a Primal Lifestyle with my friend here, Paige Clarke. And we're talking to Tony Hale. I know, Paige, you had a question that you wanted to ask Tony.
Yeah,
before.
this has been great because a lot of his ideas just really resonate and kind of what I'm doing in my office. But, you know, there's so much to talk about. We really hope you guys will take an opportunity and get his book today. But one final question that I wanted to ask you is, you know, we talk about a lot of the storage hormones like insulin. Can you share with us, how does insulin restrict weight loss?
It's really a big deal, and that's where the whole argument comes up, whether should it be low carb or low fat and all this stuff. But the fact is that when you eat sugars and carbohydrates, insulin has to rise to pull those sugars into the cells, and while that insulin is high, it blocks your body's ability to burn stored fat as fuel. Mm-hmm. So the only difference from person to person as to how many carbs they can eat without gaining weight is the strength of that insulin varies from person to person.
Okay. So
if you're a person that has weak insulin and you see your friend eating pizza all the time and she's really skinny, you try to do the same thing. If your insulin is too high, you will not lose weight. It'll be impossible for your body to burn that stored fat. So it's about understanding where your insulin is and what you can handle. But eating foods that will keep your insulin at a more steady pace instead of spiking and then crashing, so that you're starving for carbs again, keeping that on an even keel will always aid weight loss in a really big way. Beautiful.
Couldn't have said it better myself. That's definitely the philosophy around here. Tony, it's been such a pleasure having you. You're a great guest, and I loved the promos for your movie. I can't wait till it comes out, and I encourage everybody to go pick up your book.
All right, I appreciate having me on.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Tony.
Have a great day.
Thanks.
Hey, this is great, and one of the things that we always talk about here is the insulin reaction, and it is different.
Restoring insulin sensitivity. So many people are insulin resistant.
Yeah.
The insulin's knocking on the door, and the cell's saying, "I don't have to pay attention to you."
Yeah.
So the sugar doesn't get into the cell for energy.
Yeah.
And it stays high in the blood sugar, and the blood sugar raises. I want to make a comment. Joe D. made a comment today. The first step is to take back power for your health and life from the medical community. And, we always say here, there's a time and a place for the medical community. And if we have a severed limb, I want to see a medical doctor, and I want that sewn back on.
If I'm in an accident or a gunshot wound, I want the medical community to take care of me.
Mm-hmm. Emergency medicine is really important, but I think it's time, the hallmark of this show is living a primal lifestyle. Primal means first, the first response. Yes. We got to get back to basics, and we have to take responsibility for our health. And, Tony's program, it's right up there. Like he says, I teach people. That's what we do.
Yeah.
This show is all about teaching. We're not saying that we're the experts on everything. New information comes out every day, and we're going to embrace it. But our idea is to say it's your responsibility to be healthy. And you're the one that's going to make you healthy. It's not me. It's not Nico. It's not Tony. It's not the medical doctors.
Yeah. And understanding how your body works. And we get so much misinformation here. And really refreshing to hear Tony say, everybody is different. Not one diet. But I think the basis of the primal type of diet that we're always talking about is it takes you back to that first diet that we were always evolutionary-wise raised on as human beings, and that's a good basis to start from, and then you can tweak it from there.
Right, and like you said, with a lot of people, they're trying to go primal, they need to kind of take it at a different pace. Let's be smart, let's learn our own bio-individuality and go from there.
Yeah. And, once you learn more about your body, then you can kind of feel your way through this thing. And I know it's not easy for everybody. Some people can do it immediately. In 2 weeks, they're up and running. Some people may take 6 months to do that path. But it's so important because health is, really all we have.
And we're here to help them.
And we're here to help them. And you're the ones that control folks. That's for sure. Okay, that's it. Thanks, Tony, for the great information, and pick up his book, Kick Fat in the Butt. See you next week.
Fat or nut?
In the nut. Yeah, in the butt. Same place, right?
Right.
Let me tell you something, folks. I have people coming up to me saying, I just can't believe the amount of work that Steve does on his newsletter. And I says, I absolutely agree.
That is a recent clip from the Money Masters show that Tom and I do each day at TFNN. My newsletter service, Mastering Probability, is much, much more than a newsletter. Yes, it's outperformed the S&P 500 by 100% during the last 15 months. But more importantly, it's an extraordinary education, a roadmap for your success. And it's yours risk-free for the next 30 days. Just go to the homepage of TFNN.com and click on my name, Steve Rhodes, and then Mastering Probability, because everyone needs a success strategy. For most, it's a competitive edge, the will to win, the drive to overcome any obstacle. Whatever you call it, winners find a way. Find your way to Mastering Probability today, because your journey to extraordinary rewards is just one click away.